Action, guys. I'm back. What up? Is that me in here? Let me see who else. So, Hale, Karen, people on here early. What up, y'all? Can everybody hear me? It's been a little while, so my live skills aren't as sharp as they once were. I want to make sure everybody can get me loud and clear 2020, 4040, whatever audio comes in. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody get at me? Dr. Pinesett, the study doc here today, and we're talking stress. If you can hear me, let me know. Comment in the box right now so I can see it. Okay, everybody can hear me then. Perfect. All right. Everybody, I'm so excited to be back. And today we're going to start with stress because while I've been gone from social media, I haven't been gone completely. I've been working with a lot of students and it keeps coming up again and again. This stress. So today we're going to go deep into stress. And we're going to first, right? We're going to walk this through. We're going to do long lectures on this channel. We're going to go back to our roots, guys. Who remembers when we used to go hours and hours on this channel teaching and coaching and learning? We're going to get back to that. So we're going to do long form content. If you want to learn, if you want to get better, this is the place. I'm the guy to listen to. So today we're talking about stress. We're going to do a couple different things. The first thing is I'm going to define stress for you and give you in a practical kind of useful way, right? We define things. We want to really crack at it in a way that helps you get over it, right? Helps you be a better student. That's the first thing. The second thing, we're going to look at stress. We're going to drill it down and identify its true purpose and utility because it is useful, but we have to know how to use it. And the third thing we're going to do is we are going to clarify the two predominant types of stress. And we're going to teach you how to go from that bad stress to the good stress. You can harness it and create success. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to walk you guys two clear examples of students, one who was in that first class of stress, bad stress, and that second group of students who used the stress and harnessed it to be great. So we're going to talk about two students at the end, MCAT examples for you guys, and break down how these two students did entirely different on the MCAT because one was able to harness stress and one was not. So if you're excited, if you are ready, guys, I'm going to hit the intro. We're going to come back. We're going to go in deep on stress. Yes, we're back, guys. All right, let's get it. But stop making excuses. Stop whining. Stop, right? Get at it. No excuses. Just dominate. All right, everybody see my face? You should see my face. Meryl's in the place. Christian, what up? And now you can see my iPad. Is that accurate? This is my first time trying this, so I need everybody to respond quickly. Remember, we are live action. Can you see my iPad? Can you hear my voice? If you can hear my voice, those sultry sounds you're hearing are the voice of Dr. Pinesett. Me, guys. I am the study doc, Stanford Medical School graduate, faculty member at UC San Diego, full-time study doc, y'all, helping you guys get amazing. And what this channel is about and why I've returned to social media is I just kind of stepped away from social media. I did like 2.5 months, no social media, just chilling out with my students because social media is pretty negative, right? We all agree, right? It's always promoting this negativity. And what I always encourage my students to do, and why my students come hang out at lives or come hang out coaching, is that if you want to be a positive person, you need to hang out with positive people. If you want to be a productive person, you need to hang around productive people because you truly are who you roll with. And too often, we're rolling with social media cats. And a lot of times, guys, social media is a lot of sizzle, a lot of pizzazz, but not a lot of substance. And so if you want to be a substantial person, what I'm telling you is you got to get around substantial type people like myself, like my students. So that's why I'm here, is to bring you guys some substance. Right? To be that voice of positivity, to promulgate, right? To promulgate, to push forth positivity to help you guys. And one of the ways that we get bound down, we don't even recognize it, is stress. How many of you guys are stressed out? I asked the question today on my Instagram, at the study doc. I asked today on Instagram, how many of you guys are stressed out? And actually, let's check it live action. So we're live action. Let's see what the poll's at currently. I don't want to give you guys outdated statistics. Let's see. So I asked the question, yes or no? You guys stressing and struggling? 84% said, oh my God, so much stress and so much struggling. 84% of students, guys. So recognize that if you are stressing, stress is common, y'all. It's very, very common. Oh my gosh. To stress and to struggle, many people think defines the student experience. But what we have to be very careful of is that just because something is common, just because something is ordinary, just because something is right? What we see so often doesn't mean it is normal, doesn't mean it should be happening, and doesn't mean it is unavoidable. So as we say that stressing and struggle has become the student norm, I want to tell you guys that stressing and struggle is not the norm for school. It does not have to be your experience, and you can enjoy school and you can be successful knowing that you're going to get the job done. Do we understand what I'm saying right now? Okay? So we have to first understand. It is very common you are not alone. If you're sitting there stressing, if you tune in tonight because you're like, dang, I've been so stressed out. I got to fix it. Oh, tonight's the night. But we have to recognize, as we talk about stress, if you get nothing else from this video, understand if you're stressed out, if you're struggling, if you're floundering, if you feel like someone's constantly, and as a student who struggled myself, I can tell you, you want to know what stress and struggle feels like? This is the physical equivalent. I was watching Wedding Crashers this weekend. I was out of town, I was on vacation, and Wedding Crashers was on in Spanish. And they had the subtitles going on the bottom in English. And I just thought it would be funny to watch. And it got to the point where the scene was. It was like on TNT or something like in Mexico. And it got to the scene where Owen Wilson's character is leaving to go on a bike ride with his girlfriend. And Vince Vaughn has been shot in the buttocks with a shotgun. And he's like, in English, he says something to the effect of, just step on my head when I'm drowning. And then in Spanish, it was something like funny. It just sounded kind of cool, whatever. But the point is that for many of you guys, what stressing and struggling, what school feels like, it feels like you're drowning. You're constantly trying to come up for air, for information, for success. Oh, I got to get over it. There's so much information. You're trying to get it. But at every single moment, you're taking on more water. You're taking on more water. And simultaneously, it feels like everybody is stepping on your head. The teacher. Right? Your friends, right? Your parents putting pressure on you, right? Those people, right? People say, right? We feel like everything's crushing down on us and we can't get up. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? That's what stress feels like. A boot to the top of your head when you're drowning and trying to get air for life. That's how bad it can be. So how do we get at stress and chop it down? And when we talk about things, guys, you guys know have been around me for a long time. We have to be very clear. I'm also a part-time artist, if you can't tell. Okay? That is a tree, if you couldn't. Maybe if I make it green, you guys will be able to see that better. Let's see. If I make it green, does that help you guys? Let's see. Well, I guess the whole tree's not green, but there, that's a tree. If we want to change something in our lives, if we want to be a better student, if we want to succeed in a massive scope, right? We always talk about no excuses, just dominate. If you want to get to the point of dominance, we can't be attacking stuff up here in the branches. And so often what we do when we attack things is we're up in the branches. If you want to change your life, you got to be down here in the roots, y'all. Getting at the root of the issue, the root of the problem. And when it comes to stress, our issues stem from the fact that, one, we don't understand it. Right? We don't know what it is. The second thing is we don't know how to manage it. And that's right, that's the corollary. We don't know how to manage it because we don't know what it is. So we're going to define it first. So we're going to define it at the root level. And one of the definitions that I found that I really like, and I actually prepared a lecture. We're going to start preparing lectures, right? Just give you guys a little bit more. We're going to be a little more on point this year. A little more on task, I should say. No more on topic, off topics for you guys. So stress is our emotional. So what is stress? Everybody can see my iPad. Everybody can hear my voice. Let me know, y'all. Okay, and if you can read my chicken scratch. Okay, one tall girl says, I can see you and I can hear you. Right? Stress is our emotional and or physical tension in response to challenge or demand. And I cherry-picked pieces of this definition that fit how I look at stress. And that's important, right? Having this definition because it frames the discussion. Right? If we don't know what something is, we can't attack it. So we have to be very clear on what our definition of stress is. It's our emotional and or physical tension. That neck gets tight in response to challenge or demand. Okay? The reason, right, this definition is so important is because this definition, it's our emotional and our physical tension in response to challenge or demand. So the first thing is that we are presented with a challenge or a demand. Okay? Why is that important to highlight about stress? I'll start with the easier part. Our emotional and physical response. So stress is a response to things that are happening to us, right? It is our response to what's happening. In particular, challenges and demands. The reason that the challenge and demand is important is because, guys, what is life? If I'd ask you to summarize life for a kindergarten child, how would you describe life? Like, hey, what's in front of me? What is life? How would you describe that? Christian says out of our control. I disagree, Christian, but you're close, I guess. We don't want to be out of control. This channel is all about getting you in control, right? If you guys are ready to get in control, let me know right now. Comment in the box. But what is life if you're going to describe it? Put it in the box. This is important, right? Everything we do here is thinking. It's a thinking exercise. Eddie, one of my students, what up, Eddie, says demands. Life is nothing but a series of demands and challenges. That's all life is a series of demands and challenges. Every time you move up a level, every time you move on to this, every time you get, right? You add demands, you add challenges. It's one demand, one challenge after the next, right? Patrice says life is hard, right? It's hard because it's just a series of demands and challenges. It's stretching yourself. Life is an opportunity to grow, right? And so we're always growing, trying new things, right? And moving through those demands and challenges. So life is nothing but a series of demands and challenges. Thus, is it common to have stress at these demands and these challenges? Yes. Understanding this is important because you cannot eliminate stress and succeed. If you have no stress in your life, that means you're a failure. That means you're a loser. That's the reality. If you have no stress in your life, you are a loser. Because as my students will know, right, what do we always say? Success follows what, guys? Struggle, follows sacrifice, follows work. There is no success without stress. Because if you are succeeding, that means you are challenging yourself. That means you are being demanding of yourself. That means you are pushing yourself to that next level. If we could understand then, who would be calling me right now? Who doesn't know we're on here live action, calling me on my iPad? It's ridiculous, y'all. It's the beauty of live. Right? Everybody still with me? If we can understand that we cannot eliminate stress and succeed, we understand that stress is part of success, it reframes success for us. Because now we expect some level of stress. Does that make sense to everybody? It will make you extremely unhappy if you are on a quest that you cannot win. And if you are out here saying, no, I want to have no stress in my life and be successful, those two don't flow together. So if you're constantly, I don't want to have any stress, but I want to be a success. Oh, why isn't it happening for me? You're going to be doomed for forever. You're going to have an eternity of life of terribleness because you can't be a high-level person and not have stress. But with that, right, that stress, that response to a challenge or demand, we can then say, okay, wait a minute. If stress is required, then what I want is the right amount of stress. What I want is the right type of stress that helps me get to my success and doesn't push me away from it. Yes? And so, we are going to break stress into the two types. Functional stress and destructive stress. Functional stress and destructive stress. Functional stress and destructive success. There are times that I am highly stressed out. I mean, stress like up to my eyeballs in stress. But it's functional stress. And so because of that, I push and I succeed and I go further. If I had the same level, but it was destructive success, I'd be crushed, right? I'd be that student that you guys are talking about moving away from people. Does everybody understand? There's two types, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna break it down, but I make sure we gotta follow this, right? We gotta all walk together through this lecture. Stress and functional and destructive stress. If you're with me and you understand, like the video right now. Let me know if you guys are learning something right now. If you like where we're going, if you want to see where this trail leads us and how we can defeat this stress, like the video right now. Let me know. Comment in the box. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. I'm trying to bring some value to people right now. Okay. Functional and destructive. It's harder to necessarily create functional stress. So the first step, if you guys want to be more successful students and you want to have a better grip on your stress, is that you need to reduce your destructive stress. Okay? So we want to reduce this side of it. Right? If you want to be super happy, even if you're super stressed out, you want to get rid of all your destructive stress and stay all on the functional side. So how do we get rid of destructive stress, right? We got to break this down. Okay? What is destructive stress? It's negativity. It's negativity. How many of you guys allow negativity to exist around you, and by existing around you, exist inside you? Negativity, okay, this is a very good example. Negativity is like glitter. Negativity is the glitter of the emotional, spiritual, physical world. Negativity. Why? Because if there's any negativity around, right? If there's one person, if you're working on a project, right, and there's glitter involved, and there's a poster, and one person pulls out the glitter, how many people are going to leave that room with glitter on them? Come on. If one person comes in, they got the glitter pen, the glitter glue. My kids love glitter glue. And I'm like, oh no, because I know the truth about glitter. And I want to teach you the truth about negativity. It's glitter glue. If one person comes in the room and they're covered in glitter, everyone's going to leave the room covered in glitter. Negativity is the same way. If you are around negative things, people, you can't leave unscathed. It's why I don't allow a lot of people around me. It's facts, right? I got my group, and then if I don't know you, if you're bringing some negativity, if you want to complain, you gotta get away from me. Because I know I can't escape negativity unless I run from it. But if I'm in it and I'm allowing you to bring your negativity to me, I'll never be positive. I'll never get to the other side, right? And for you guys, there's enough negativity in this world. You've got to be aware of all of it. Number one, first and foremost, is yourself, guys. How many of you guys are negative to yourself? And we're going to talk about this circle and where it comes from and how we can defeat this. But how many of you guys are negative to yourself? How many of you guys are telling yourself, right? People around you trying to tell you something positive, you're like, no, that ain't me. I can't do it. I know you're saying I can do it, but I can't do it. You're negative to yourself. How many of you guys got negative family members who don't believe in your dream, who don't support your quest, who don't think you're good enough to be your greatness? How many of you guys let your parents' hopes for you become negativity? They're rushing you. They're telling you, you get better than this. Oh, you got to get into the best medical school. You got to do this. You let their expectations, their wants, their hopes for you crush you and bring you down negativity. How many of you guys, right? How many of you guys got people in your life? This is one of my favorite things students say. I'm like, oh yeah, you got to do this. And like, well, wait a minute. I heard that you got to do this. I'm like, heard from who? People. People. Okay, cool. Right? You got negative people around you. If you want to be less stressed, you have to figure out where the negativity is coming from. And I promise you guys, if you're feeling overly stressed, it's because you got some negativity around you. One of the contributors, I'm not even all of it, but one of the contributors is going to be that negativity. And it starts there, and it's the easiest thing to get rid of. If you have people who even jokingly say something negative to you, you got to cut them. If you have people who like to gossip, who like to be on gossip sites, you got to cut them immediately. Because they're going to weigh you down. They're going to make you stressed out because they will find the negativity in any situation. The second thing, we talk about real world people, is fake world people, is social media. Why do I hate social media? Because it's negative for negative's sake. It's a bunch of people who don't have a life, who don't have success, and they want to get on the internet and pretend to be successful. I kid you not, I was just on vacation. In Mexico, and literally, it was hilarious to me. I saw people with Louis Vuitton tatted on their body, and they don't own anything Louis Vuitton in their house. There was one guy I saw, and Shannon and I, you guys know my wife Shannon, were cracking up to no end because this guy had a Porsche symbol on one forearm and he had a Lamborghini symbol on the other forearm. And I'm like, if he doesn't own a fleet of Porsches and Lamborghinis, something wrong. Something wrong, y'all. Posers. And what you don't recognize about the problematic nature of posers, is that by them posing, by them pretending that they are successful, that they are perfect, that they are amazing, they're really, really promoting negativity. Because they're making, right, it's like these, we talk about like healthy body image. Well, social media, right, it's bad for body image, it's bad for your self-image as a whole, for what it means to be successful, for what it takes to be successful. Because everyone shows you get rich quick, everyone shows you poser stuff, and then you're like, why isn't my life like that? Why aren't my notes rainbow colored? Why can't I do calligraphy 50,000 different ways? And you don't recognize that their posing ass stuff that you think is inspiring you is actually negativity. Do you guys get what I'm saying? We got to be different. So we've got to escape negativity, guys. Cut out the negativity. That's number one. The second thing, where this destructive stress comes from, is overwhelm. How many of you guys feel overwhelmed? Who with me? Like I said, guys, if you're here, I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett. I'm the study doc. Let me reset what's happening here. We're 20-something minutes in. I'm not here for superficiality. I'm here for people who want to get better. If you're ready to get better, we're going to be here on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. going in on topics, breaking them down to their core element. This is not superficiality, because all that superficial stuff is not getting you where you want to go. We got to go deep. Okay? So, I'm Dr. Pinesett. I'm at the study doc across social media. Follow me. Subscribe. Okay? This is my YouTube channel. You are here. Maybe you're listening to this afterwards. It's going to be uploaded to the podcast. Check that out, y'all. Right? The Study Doc Show is my podcast. Check that out. My website, thestudydoc.com. Get to all this stuff, guys. Okay? We're going deep. Overwhelm. Right? I see this. I feel overwhelmed at times. One tall girl says, I'm raising both hands. How do I strengthen? There we go. Bam! Learning new things today. Overwhelmed. Raising both hands, right? We feel that overwhelm. Why do we feel overwhelmed? Fayez says, studying for the MCAT be like, overwhelmed. The MCAT, guys, is an emotional test. It is a test of your mental fortitude to get through it. Rosanna, I've missed you too. I'm so excited that you're here with me. I'm so glad, everybody. I know it's been a while, y'all. I missed all y'all. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to learn. It's good to go in. And I'm thankful for all you guys for being here, so thank you guys. But overwhelmed, right? It's overwhelmed. So this destructive stress is feelings of negativity. It's feelings of overwhelm, right? There's too much stuff going on there. We go from negativity to overwhelm, right? And it builds, and things seem insurmountable. How many of you guys are there? I just can't get there. It's out of reach. I can't get there. Insurmountable. right? We go from feeling negative to being overwhelmed. I'm drowning till I am drowning, right? Insurmountable. And when we go from insurmountable, we go to impossible. Can't be done. Cannot succeed. Cannot be great. Cannot get the A. Cannot do the studying. Cannot. Not possible. Okay? Cannot. Impossible. Aaron says, how do you find time to do these? I find time to do these, guys, because this is what I do all day, every day. I was up at 4 this morning. Thinking. Developing. Focusing on how to make you guys better in every single way, right? That's what I do every day. Impossible. We go from impossible, right? Oh, I can't do it, I can't achieve it, to this. How many of you guys feel hopeless at points? Yep, yomp all the time, right? That hopelessness. And what we don't recognize, y'all, and I'm talking about studying right now, right? We're talking about being a successful student, but this is all facets of your student game, right? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get this scholarship. You know what? It's for really great students, and I'm just not good enough. And, oh, I got to do all that. I got to write an essay for it. I got to get letters of recommendation. Who would ever recommend me? Oh, my gosh. Well, there's like probably going to be thousands of students applying, and I just don't know if I can get it. And, oh, my gosh, it'd be impossible for me to get it because I'm clearly not the best I could be. I'm clearly not the best person for this. There's other people who are so much more qualified. It's hopeless. I just won't apply for the scholarship. Right? This is your whole life. And what we fail... I think I did something to my pen here. Oh, there we go. And what we fail to see is that we have all these feelings, and when we feel hopeless, this is very, very key. When we walk this whole ladder of destruction, get all into hopelessness, what happens is we get to purposelessness. So often I hear students tell me, oh, Dr. Pinesett, I just don't see what the point is. I don't see what the purpose is. I'm just not motivated. I just don't feel like I should do it. I'm not engaged. I don't see the point. Why do they say that? Why do you say that? It's because you've reached the point of saying, it doesn't matter what I do. I can't succeed. So what's the point anyway? Why even try? Why do it? Why am I trying so hard? What's the purpose of this? It's purposelessness. Yes? And when we are purposeless, right, we don't have a purpose, we start taking part in, what do we do, y'all? Avoidance behavior. Julian, we're about to get to your point right now, talking about laziness. It's not what you think. This is your laziness right here. Excuse me. Purposelessness. When we don't see the point, when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel like we can't get there, when we feel like we can't be successful, when we don't see a path to the finish line, we avoid. It's more than procrastinating, Kasim. We're going to get into it. We avoid. What is avoidance behavior? Well, it is laced, right, with we lack motivation. Okay? We lack focus. We're easily distracted. Right? We love the procrastination. So we're unfocused, we're unmotivated, and we procrastinate like nobody's business. We avoid, we pull back, we withdraw. Right? Do we isolate? How many of you guys isolate? How many of you guys, I'm overwhelmed, and you go turtle shell. I call it the turtle shell. Turtle shell! I'm going to hide in my shell because I'm too unmotivated, I'm too unfocused, I'm procrastinating too much, and I don't want anybody to see just how terrible I am, so I'm going to isolate. Yes? Who's doing that? Like this video right now if you understand what I'm saying right now. If I'm talking to you, if you get what I'm saying right now, wink at me, give me the like right now, and let me know that I'm hitting a note with some of y'all. That I'm not on here wasting my breath for nothing. Dry mouthed and all. Drink all my water. One more sip in there. We got it. Okay? That isolation. We isolate ourselves. And we isolate ourselves. All these things come together. And we get self-loathing. Man, I hate myself. I hate myself. I hate that I'm this way. Why am I this way? Oh my gosh, right? Why am I so unmotivated? Why am I so unfocused? Why do I procrastinate so much? Why am I alone? I hate myself. I feel so guilty. Gosh, I shouldn't have procrastinated. I should have got to work. Why? Oh, and we hate ourselves. We loathe ourselves. Right? Do you guys feel what I'm saying right now? How many of you guys are in the self-loathing? Like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. Right? You were there. Self-loathing. And when we hate ourselves, right? When we do all these things, we get into this loop where we feel this way. Oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. I'm no good. I have no great traits. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I don't have this. I'm at a school that's not a great school. You have all these things, right? This self-loathing, right? And this self-loathing becomes what we hate over here at this channel, y'all. Becomes excuses. All we see now, we've gone. We're at the deep end of the spectrum. Our stress has destructed ourselves and our future, and we've gotten to the point where we hate ourselves so much, we resent ourselves so much, we're so guilt-ridden at ourselves, we detest ourselves, that we start to make excuses for why we can't be successful. And guess what happens, y'all? When we make those excuses and all this self-loathing, it comes right back up here, and it feeds back into our purposelessness. Well, if I'm worthless, then my actions are worthless. What's the point? It's hopeless. And we get into this cycle where we avoid, we hate ourselves, we make excuses about why we're so bad and why we can't be successful, and we feel more purposeless. And then we avoid more things, and then we're less motivated, and then we're more procrastination, and then we're less focused, and we have more isolation, and then we hate ourselves more, and then we make more excuses, and then we go round and round and round and round and round in what I call the failure spiral. This is the failure spiral of destructive stress. Too much negativity makes us feel overwhelmed. We're going to talk about how to break all this stuff. Overwhelmed. It becomes insurmountable. It becomes impossible. We feel hopeless. We feel purposeless. And then we avoid. And then we hate ourselves for it. And then we make excuses for why we are the way we are, and that's how we are, and we make things that are temporary permanent. And we get in this loop and we become a lifelong failure. Do you guys understand? And I always ask for understanding, guys. Some of you guys, I've gotten messages, hey, Dr. Pine, it's really annoying when you ask if I understand. Of course I understand. I'm not talking to you if you understand what I'm saying right now. I'm talking to the rest of you cats who maybe you're confused. This is your time. Ask a question. Figure out where we're at right now. But how many of you guys are in the destructive stress mode? That's where you live, right? How many of you guys are there in destructive stress? Share with the group, because there's a lot of people out here think, oh, wait a minute, it's only me. Oh my gosh. No. There's so many of y'all out here with destructive stress. Okay. So now, I mentioned I'm stressed all the time. Lots of high stress. And I'm going to show you guys. So hang with me. We're going to talk about two just happened in the last 10 days. 2 students, 2 sides of the stress coin, and 2 different MCAT results. I'm going to break it down for you guys. Okay? Functional stress. The other side. This is where I live, on the functional stress side. I love me some stress. Right? It's functional. Okay? Functional. What is functional stress? It's positivity. Now, people say, oh, just be positive. Just be positive. Oh my gosh, be positive, right? That's bull, right? You can't just be positive. That's a terrible way, and I don't like that green. I can't see it. So I'm going to go with this just blue. We don't do that. Okay? Positivity. You can't just be positive. You can't. What you have to do is infuse positivity. So many of you guys are friends. So many of you guys are close with who you are close with in proximity. Oh, they're my lab partner, so they're my friend. Oh, they're my roommate, they're my friend. You have not actively selected the people you put around you. You open your social media and you just scroll, follow this profile, follow that, scroll, and you have not actively curated the content you're feeding your brain. Some of you guys only read for your classes. You don't infuse yourself with the positivity of great books. You don't infuse yourself, right, with positivity by enjoying life. How many of you guys restrict yourself? You hold yourself back because you hate yourself. You're in self-loathing. You don't allow yourself to have fun. You don't allow yourself to relax. You don't allow yourself to enjoy yourself. You don't allow yourself to, right? You don't allow yourself to ever fully get into life. You starve yourself of positivity and of feel good. What do I say in my 5 pillars course, right? My 5 pillars studying less getting better grades. We value rest, ridiculousness, and recovery. The 3 R's. We value them. Rest, recovery, and ridiculousness. We have to actively infuse ourselves with that positivity. Ridiculousness, silliness, fun, we have to have it. Right? That's why we do dinners, my group, so we can get together and we can laugh and we can be off and just have a good time. You have to actively infuse yourself with positivity. And so for you guys, if you are feeling too much destructive stress, work on, right, eliminating the negativity, but actively infusing positivity in your life. And I want you guys, right, take a second right now, type in the box. What's one way in the next 24 hours you're going to infuse positivity into your life? Other than watch this video, right? What is one way that you can infuse some positivity into your life? Is there a book that's been on your shelf you've been wanting to read but haven't had time to? Can you crack it and read a couple pages? Right? Is there a friend you've been wanting to reach out to but you've been too busy? Can you reach out to that friend? Can you call your mama and say, hey mama, I need you right now for some positivity? Can you go for a run for yourself? Can you get yourself something nice? Small item, a keychain. My kids like keychains. Something. What can you do in the next 24 hours to infuse some positivity? Christian said, go make some gains, go hit that gym, right? Whatever you got to do, we're going to infuse positivity, guys. I want you guys to make that commitment right now to infuse 30-second dance party. That's my go-to. Get them shoulders going. When the shoulders are rolling, I don't know if you guys can see this, if the video is really doing it justice, but when the shoulders, oh, what did Lil Duval say? You got to kill him with that shoulder. Man, 30-second dance party, shake it up, get you going, right? Infuse positivity actively, okay? The next thing we have to do is that we have to recognize and embrace difficulty, struggle, and sacrifice. As we said, difficulty, struggle, and sacrifice are life, and we have to embrace and reframe these as markers of success. I don't want to avoid difficulty. When I'm struggling, when I'm having difficulty, right? Think about, like Christian just said, gains in the gym. You know, if you're not sweating in the gym, I hate this. When gyms used to be open, you go and people are not sweating and they're talking, taking the photos for Instagram. Okay, if your Instagram photo and you're not sweating, I don't see sweat stains on the butt crack of your pants, you aren't doing it right. Can we be real? Let's be real. I'm gonna call out the fake Instagram workout people. If you're working out and you're posing and show me your glutes, but I don't see sweat dripping down your side, you ain't working out, you faking the funk, you posing. Right? If you want to get big, if you want gains, you want to get strong, you want to get fit, you got to sweat. That weight's got to be hard to push. Right? We got to sacrifice. We got to be up early, get to that gym. That's where the muscle comes from. And it's the same way academically as a student. If your career, if you're not doing things that are challenging you, that are difficult, if you aren't sacrificing, if you aren't then you aren't on the path to success. And so therefore, we want to seek out things that challenge us. We want to take all of this stuff and recognize that, yes, it's going to lead us to success, but we want to trivialize failure and understand that failure is not ever permanent, guys. Not ever. People ask me all the time, hey, Dr. Pinesett, have you failed? And I always say no, but I guess it's kind of a lie. Sure, I failed, but it never stopped me from succeeding. And in fact, they were just kind of stepstones for me to get to success. And so for you guys, how many of you guys are paralyzed? You're over here on this destructive side, right? Oh, I did this, so it's impossible for me to get to medical school. You know, I messed up freshman year, so I can't get in. Oh, you know what? I blew it on this research opportunity, so now I can't get a publication. All these things. You make failure final. And when failure is final, you're over here in this hopelessness bucket. Does that make sense to everybody? So what we have to do is recognize that failure is not final. Failure is fleeting. You have failure, it goes away, you can still succeed. And we have to change that, y'all. And recognize that there is no, that's why I say no failure, because there is no such thing as, like, failing means failure in the word itself is final. So for me, I don't even have it in my vocabulary. I can't even say failure. Like, have you failed? No, I haven't failed. But how you guys define failure? Yes, I failed. But I recognize that failure is such a final word, it's not even in my vocabulary. I've stumbled. I've had difficulty. I've had struggle. I've had to sacrifice. I've had issues. I've had obstacles. I've had setbacks. Right? I've had catastrophic issues. But I haven't failed because nothing's final. It's just a momentary thing. So failure is not final, it's fleeting. Do we understand? So failure will be minimized, and understanding that every single difficulty is getting you closer to success. And we're going to lean into the difficulty. Okay? And where that becomes important, right? And understand that it's part of the process that we're going through, is because then, guys, we will understand something. This is so important. Okay? So important. When we think about failure as fleeting, and we think about difficulty as fleeting, and it's short-lived, and it's not permanent, and we understand that success, right, it's our life, all these things are leading to success, we then can put ourselves in a position where we can eliminate time as a factor. How many of you guys feel behind? How many of you guys feel off timeline? How many of you guys feel like you must rush, like you must move faster, like you must do more all the time? Time is a factor. How many of you guys are constantly thinking about where's the time? What is the time? How do I get there? How many of you guys are focused on that time? What's the problem with that, guys? My people who are saying me in the box right now, I see all you guys. Kasim says guilty, but she says me. Lila says, oh my God, me. Fayez says all the time, right? What happens when you're focused on that time as a factor? This is so important, guys. Listen to me. If fear is a factor, when time, fear is never a factor for me, Joe, right? When time is a factor. There you go, Fayez. Let me pull that over here. When time is a factor, time is so powerful, y'all, because we all know, we all recognize life is short, right? We only have so much time. It's one of the truths, like, we can all acknowledge that time is time, right? When you make time a factor, it instantly, you add it to the equation, it instantly overwhelms the equation. And it pulls all your focus, all your attention, all your energy off of the task at hand, off of the small things you have to do, and all you're focused on is the time component. So it is the ultimate distractor and puller of your energies, your focus, and your attention, all these things that matter to making you successful, it pulls all of it away. So when we are time focused, right? People in my MCAT course, right? What do I say? Right? My MCAT course, how to dominate the MCAT without expensive prep class. I say we have to remove the time factor from our MCAT study. Otherwise, we'll feel like, oh, there's never enough time to get to this, We got to remove that factor so that it doesn't weigh down all of our studying. We can focus on what we're learning at hand. So we have to remove time as a factor. And we have to rethink how we think about time. And I say to myself all the time, shoot, I got plenty of time to do that. Plenty of time to do that. And so if you guys are around me, I do a lot every day. But rarely am I rushed. Rarely am I rushed. There's always time, right? We do coaching. It's rare my coaching sessions end on time. Why? Because I'm not in a rush. I don't have to rush. My time is not, it's all right. Because what's more important than the limited amount of time we have is understand that because it is limited, we must use our time to the max and maximally. So we want to reframe how we look at time and say, listen, it's not about having limited time and not having enough time. It's about, wait a minute, I do have limited time, I acknowledge. But how can I make the most of this time? This moment here. Okay? That's the first dimension. Is time limits. The second is the time continuum. Excuse my writing there. If we can embrace difficulty, struggle, and sacrifice and understand that failure is never final, it's fleeting, right? And there is no such thing as true failure. Then what we do is we remove the power of our past failures. And for some of you guys, right, we talk about this failure spiral, hating yourself, loathing yourself. It's because you're looking at the past with tremendous regret and disdain for what happened. And fear then comes in, stress then comes in, anxiety comes in because we're worried about making the same mistake and having the same feelings of failure. And that makes stress. Does that make sense to everybody? So if we can reframe and embrace difficulty, struggle, sacrifice, shortcomings, hiccups, whatever, and we can laugh at our failures and learn from those failures and grow from those failures, we remove the power of our past issues, our past trauma, right? So what therapy is all about is helping you work through and process your past. And what I'm telling you is if you want to be functionally stressed out, you got to be able to say, man, I totally messed that up. And yeah, that sucked, but I'm not doing that again. It's okay. I learned and I'm not doing that again. Woo-wee, right? When I failed calculus, I was like, oh man, I failed calculus. Oh, and then I laughed about it. Because I was like, oh, I failed it. I ain't gonna fail it again. Let's go. Next thing. If I can get out of medical school, next thing. And then I got into Stanford, right? Next thing. But how many of you guys have a bad quiz, that turns into a bad midterm, that turns into a bad final, that turns into a whole bad semester? And that bad semester turns into a whole bad year, turns into a whole bad college career. Because you're constantly looking in the rearview mirror saying, oh, I shouldn't have struggled. Oh, I shouldn't have failed. Oh, I'm a terrible person. And all you're doing is you're adding time in. Time is like fire. Let me do it red for fire. This is the time flame. Well, that's not good fire. But that's fire. Don't worry about that. That's a fire flame of time. Is it pours fire onto your excuses and your loop, your failure loop, and your purposelessness. Okay? So we've got to reduce time as a factor, y'all. Take that down. Okay? Now, we've done all that, right? We've established all these things. So how do we, right? We're in this mode. One of the biggest things, right, where it all comes from is this negativity, this overwhelm. So how do we change things, guys? We got to take responsibility. I talk about functional stress. Okay? The reason that I have nothing but functional stress and the reason that I get very stressed out, but I'm always able to stay positive and chipper and cheer and push forward. And yes, I'm not saying there aren't days where I'm like, I feel a little sad today, right? Where things kind of come together. But I'm able to get back on track and bounce back, which is what people don't talk about. So let me This is our first on topic, off topic of the new year. Okay? On topic, off topic. I talked about how stress is common, but it shouldn't be normalized in the sense that this overwhelming stress, right? This destructive stress. It irritates me to no end when I see on social media that people are pushing forth narratives of badness. Oh, are you sad and lonely? I'm sad and lonely too. It's okay. We're sad and lonely. Right? Like, what is that? Oh gosh, you can't read. I can't read either. How cute. Oh, these narratives of what you feel, how you are right now as permanent. And they literally go through all this fancy video editing to make you feel the emotions of a loser, of a failure, of an overwhelmed, overly anxious, of a self-destructive person. They want you to go through those emotions. Do you guys get what I'm saying right now? What that is doing is taking away your self-efficacy, your belief that you can be successful. And we got too much of it, y'all. And that's why I'm always out here trying to, we gotta be some positive stuff around here. I'm a realist. But I'm a positive realist. And that I will tell you how you're flawed. I'll be honest with you. I don't have to worry about, right? A lot of people they care about followers, so they can't alienate you. They want to make you, how you're feeling, your failures, they want to make that who you are. But I'm here to tell you, your failing is unacceptable. You being overwhelmed, overstressed out is unacceptable. We must work to fix it, and let me show you how to fix it. So I'm a positive realist, okay? We've got to take responsibility. And when I say take responsibility, y'all, what's the line? What is my mantra every day, every morning, right? And I was saying this morning and reflecting back on the past couple of weeks, and so that's why I was like, well, I'm going to do this talk today, right? Everything I am or ever will be is a direct result of me, my effort, my care, my focus, and my attention. Me. I believe that. I say it and I believe it. And by saying that and believing that, I understand that even if I'm not productive today, even if someone says they hate me, even if I get an F, even if I fall short, even if I don't get the scholarship, even if I don't have the money, even if whatever happens, it's okay. Because all I have to do is put my effort in, put my attention in, put my focus in, and I'll get it back. I'll do better. I'll do more. Right? You guys know I travel around and I give speeches all the time, keynotes, all these students. And I don't have to lie about it. I've bombed before, terribly. But every time I bomb, I learn something new. And I'm not afraid, right, of difficulty, of challenge, to come up with a new talk, to try something challenging, try something totally different, and fail. Because that quote-unquote failure is just a stumble. It's an opportunity to course correct, make it better, make it tighter, right? It's an opportunity. How did 5 Pillars come about? My 5 Pillars course? Trial and error for years, y'all. Years. Do you guys understand what I'm saying right now? We've got to take responsibility and say, it's not about blaming ourselves. It's about elevating ourselves, empowering ourselves, saying, listen, I can be good. I can be great. I can be more. I can be successful. I can be a positive person. Right? What if you told yourself that? How many of you guys are like, oh, I just get, man, I can be a positive person. So, right? Hey, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. How many of you guys are annoyed by people who are like that? How many of you guys are annoyed by people who are like, oh, I'm gonna be all right. It's all good. No worries. Don't worry. Be happy, right? It annoys us. Why? Because we can't get there. I'm one of those people. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. Right? I was on the phone with one of my students Friday before the MCAT. And this student has tremendous obstacles. And I talked to her 2 weeks ago on the phone. And I told her, I said, hey, you, insert name. I said, you are one of the most disadvantaged students I've ever met. And I work with so many disadvantaged students, it's ridiculous. You, my friend, are the definition of disadvantaged, disabled, difficulty, struggle, obstacles, taller than the moon to overcome. And the fact that you've gotten here, and it's the day before her MCAT, she's freaking out. Okay? And the day before her MCAT, she's freaking out. She calls me, code 911. I'm like, what's going on? Right? And I'm like, you got to breathe and relax and recognize. What do we say? And I made her say it with me. Everything I am or ever will be is directed to me, my effort, my care, my focus, my attention. And I said, hey, have you put the effort in? She's like, yeah, I've been studying for months. I said, hey, have you been focused? I've been so focused, man. I've been doing like 20 passages a day. I said, all right, boom. Has your attention been there? Have you been doing everything you can? Have you done everything you possibly could? And she said, yeah. And I said, then you right now better stop stressing and recognize you've done the work. You took responsibility. You've done the work. Believe in yourself. Recognize it's all within you. The test center, the people, none of that matters because you are the greatness. Go get it. And she sent me a voice message after the test, and she was like, well, I was nervous at first, but I remember what you said, and I just said, man, I'm going to rock it. And she rocked it, y'all. We don't know what her final score is yet, but she came out of there so confident, so amazing, so just not stressed at all. Just, I handled it. It was functional stress for her. Does that make sense? Exactly. Clarissa just said, I got to remind her who she is and of her greatness. That's what it's about, y'all, taking that responsibility. The second thing, and I'm always telling you guys this, is that you must develop proficiency. It starts with competency, and then when you really want to have happy, happy, joy, joy feelings, right? You want to have well-managed stress, and you want to have functional stress, you must turn your competency into expertise. This is the component people miss. They talk a big game, but they don't back it up by building proficiency, which builds confidence. Right? They want to get their MCAT score from an Instagram post. They want to learn how to study from a 2-minute video. They want to do proficiency, y'all. When I asked about overwhelm, how many of y'all said, oh my gosh, I feel so overwhelmed, I feel overwhelmed? What is overwhelm? Overwhelm is a supply-demand curve. Okay? If this is overwhelm down here, we get to overwhelm when the demand that school places on us exceeds our supply of skills. Does this make sense to everybody? When you feel overwhelmed, I want everyone to close their eyes and think about it. When you feel overwhelmed, there is a disparity, there is a gap, pictured here, between what a situation demands and what you possess to tackle said situation. This is overwhelm. This space here, the area in this curve, that's your overwhelm. So if we want to avoid being overwhelmed, we must flip our supply-demand curve and make it such that at all points on the curve, this is not right. Let me go back here. This is probably, it's a weird diagram. Sorry, I'm making this up on the fly, y'all. It's all right. We must make sure at every point along the graph, our supply of skills, knowledge, ability, all these things far exceeds the demand. And when things will get challenging is when this line gets close, but then what can we do, guys? Right? The lines start to get close. Oh gosh, our skills, oh my gosh, the demand is rising. What must we do? Oh, increase the supply. We must continue to always, right? Tony Robbins, y'all, what does he say? Kanai. Constant and never-ending improvement. What's the joke? It's a shame that parallel lines will never meet because they have so much in common. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. But if we can constantly be improving our supply of skills, even as demand increases, we always have a buffer. So sometimes I'll tell a student, hey, listen, do you want to learn how to study? And they'll say, oh, I know how to study. That's exactly the wrong answer, because what about that next level? What about that next level? What about that next challenge? What about that class you haven't gotten to yet? You're setting yourself up to get in a situation where the demand exceeds your skill set and your knowledge. And that will lead to overwhelm. Does everybody see what I'm saying right now? So we have to increase our proficiency. Take responsibility. Hey, we can be better. We can be more proficient. And then we must develop proficiency, starting with just competence. Are you a good student? Can you get by, right? My 5 pillars, right? Each pillar builds on itself in my study course. The first pillar, it's not about making you an amazing light year student. The first pillar is just like, hey, can we get our life in order? Get rid of all the distractions, all the fluff. Can we get our mind right? Can we get our environment right? Can we get all these, get everything in order first so we can be a competent student? And I have students who, at the first pillar, they're getting great grades. They're improved at the first pillar. But we're just trying to build competency first. Then we add a second pillar. We're getting more competent. Third pillar. By 5th pillar, you're expert. And then you're unstoppable. And then you're having fun. You're laughing at other people. Right? But we have to build that proficiency. Too often, people are superficial because they think it's an all or nothing sum where they must become expert today. I'm going to be expert today. I'm going to become a doctor today. No, you go to med school for 4 years, then you go to residency for 4+ years. Why? Because it takes time to develop true expertise. So we must give ourselves that latitude and say it's not about learning today. It's not about what I can acquire today. It's about every single day acquiring some for perpetuity, for forever. Right? Why am I the suprema learning human being? Because every single day I improve my knowledge set. I improve my skill set for studying, for learning, for mindset, for premeditating. I work on my skills, my knowledge in terms of coaching students, moving students, motivating students, right? Analyzing students, dissecting, moving to a solution, all these things. If I don't dedicate myself every single day and improve, there may come a day where the demand that you have exceeds my supply. But to that day, it's never been met. I've never met a student with a problem I couldn't solve because my supply is always increasing. And because of that, right, I have nothing in my life but functional stress. Anesthesia is very stressful, but it's all functional stress for me because my knowledge of anesthesia, the time I've dedicated to learning physiology, pharmacology, all these things is so suprema to the demands of the situation. I'm never outgunned in a situation where I feel overwhelmed. No, I feel stressed, but I'm stressed to move, to apply what I got going. Do I hear feet moving out there? Yeah. What's happening? Oh, night-night, guys? It's nighttime in my house, y'all. Everybody saying goodnight to my kids. Okay, everybody. Does everybody see what I'm saying right there? If you want to create functional stress, infuse positivity into your life actively. The second thing is embrace difficulty, struggle, and sacrifice as part of the process to get to success. And trivialize failure in that, and that failure is not final, it is fleeting. By embracing these things, by reframing these things, we reduce time as a factor, and we think about time, and we limit the fear we have of time limits, and we limit the fear we have of past events, and we shrink our time continuum to be in the moment, right? So all my mindful people, we're in the moment. So we're talking about that here with functional stress. Be in the moment. Do the best you can with this time. And then, ultimately, we want to take responsibility for ourselves, for our actions, for what we're doing, for our success, saying, listen, if I want to be successful, I can make myself successful. Only me and only me. Nothing can hold me back. Nothing can push me forward. It's just me. Get to work. And become proficient. First competent, then expert, not in a single moment, but over time. And always be making your best better because you're never complete, you're never done. Constant, never-ending improvement, such that your supply always exceeds your demand, and therefore you will never feel overwhelmed, you'll never feel hopeless, you'll never feel purposeless, you'll never feel self-loathing, you'll never feel guilt, all these things, because you're pushing yourself forward. Do we understand? We good? Clarissa, reach out to me. Be in touch. Okay? Does everybody understand? Okay. So I promise you guys, 2 MCAT students. We'll do it real quick. Is everybody still with me or should I end? Should I end and we talk about this another time? You guys let me know. I'll put it to the vote. We're live action. We'll put it to the people. My kids are going to bed. They're going to miss seeing me. It's late. I told Shannon I was going to do 30 minutes. We're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. Are you guys still with me? Can we hang? All right, my Eastern Standard Time people still with me? Okay. All right. By the way, guys, we got 5 Pillars coaching tomorrow night. 5 Pillars coaching tomorrow night. Check your emails, people. 5 Pillars coaching tomorrow night. 5 Pillars coaching tomorrow night. Okay? So, student A, student B. I'll give you guys the brief rundown, then I'll do a whole video about the two of them because we're running low on time. But 2 students. The first student, student A. All right, I'm going to call them A and B. Hey, A. Hey, B. B. All right, hey. All right. So, student A signed up to be one of my med school application coaching students last year, 2019, right? So he signed up, was going to be one of my students. I was going to help him apply to medical school last year. We sit down for our first session, and I'm looking over his stuff, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, your GPA is really borderline. You need a really great MCAT score. How much time have you spent studying for the MCAT? Oh, I haven't really. I've been working full time. I've been really focused. I'm really overwhelmed, blah, blah. The MCAT's kind of freaking me out. And so I said, listen, stop freaking out about the MCAT. Get the MCAT done. I said, hey, get to my MCAT course. Get the plan together. Execute on the MCAT. Study for some time. Do the MCAT. We'll apply together next year. Cool. Talk to you next year. Hang the phone up. Okay? Time goes by. The student reaches out to me last month because he's ready to apply. I said, hey, Dr. Patel, I'm back. I'm ready to apply this year. Let's go. I said, okay, great. Send me your stuff over. I'm going to look at it. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Go through your application. Woo, 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 right? And we sat down 2 weeks ago. And this student, I'm going to take this off the screen. Let me see here. Let's go back to this. Everybody can see me now? Okay. So this student, 2 weeks ago, we sit down and said, okay, great. So we talked last year. We had a plan together. How'd the MCAT go? What'd you get? And he's like, well, I'm actually scheduled to I was going to take the MCAT. No, first he said, well, I'm scheduled to take the MCAT. I'm going to take it in like June. I said, okay, what's your test date? Well, I don't have a test date yet, but I'm going to sign up soon for a test date. And I said, well, why am I going to test date? Well, I've been working, a lot. Well, okay, so you've been working. I'm like, well, how's the studying going? Well, I've been working a lot. I've been, taking a couple classes and, doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but what about the MCAT? Blah, blah, blah. And as we talk, I'm like, poking him. We finally get to it. And he's like, you know what? I just been really stressed about the MCAT this year. And so I just been pushing it off. Working more. Taking more classes. Doing this. Pushing it off. And I said, we talked last year. I said, you had one thing to do this entire year. The only thing holding you back from medical school is the MCAT. But you did everything but the MCAT this year. What's the problem? And he said, I'm just too stressed out. I said, you're in a failure spiral. You've let your stress get the better of you and keep you from succeeding. And I said, this is unacceptable. And I said, tell me what's going on. He's like, well, my parents are stressing me out. And when he said this, oh, your parents stress you out. Oh, you're stressing you out? And I start talking about what's going on with the parents. Oh, well, they're being supportive, and I'm living with them, and they're helping them. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa, it's not adding up. So I said, let's do a phone call with your parents. And so I was gonna put up a screenshot for you guys of me on a Zoom call with him, his parents, and all the siblings. We're all on a Zoom call together. And I said, hey, parents of student A, I said, we got a problem. And they said, we know we got a problem. We got a problem too. We've been telling them to apply. What is going on? And we sit down, and myself, this kid's parents are on him. And you guys know, when someone's getting it good, like there's a really good scolding happening, when the siblings are uncomfortable. You guys ever been that? You're the sibling, or you see someone's sibling, like, ooh-wee, glad it's not me. That was what was happening. Is that me, the 2 parents, were going in on this kid, talking about the fact that you're talking about your parents stressing you out, and they're like, no, we're here to support you. Whatever you got to do. You don't got to work. Blah, blah, blah. What's the excuse? Oh, I said, whoa. You've had my MCAT course since last year. Did you go through any of the modules? No. I said, did you go to MCAT coaching? No. Did you reach out to me? Nope. I ain't heard from you in a year. So that's you in a failure spiral with avoidance behaviors. So we talked for like 45 minutes. Like, here's the plan. Boom, voom, 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 voom. And we set up a plan and a pact. And I gave his parents my cell phone number. I said, listen, we got to work on this together. If you see him slacking off, he ain't going to call me because he knows I'll give it to him. If you see him slacking off, I want you to call me. You let me know, and I'll be on his case. And so now we get together, and we're going to tag team and stuff, and he's going to apply next year, and he's going to be fine. He's going to do the MCAT. But the problem is he let destructive stress get to him, and now push his application back not 1 year, but 2 years. Push his med school start back 3 years, right? How many of you guys know somebody who's in a failure spiral like that? Whether it's the MCAT, whether it's applying to medical school, whether it's their classes, whether it's, right? How many of you guys have been in those, whether they're big or they're small, in that spiral where you're so scared of something, you don't even give yourself a chance to fail at it. You just fail yourself. You're so scared of it, you just, I ain't gonna do it, let's get away from it, right? And you don't even give yourself a chance to be successful. You're a fail by default. You didn't even show up. Right? It's a terrible, terrible cycle. But stop making excuses. Stop. Student number 2, right? Student B. Okay? This student, okay? Last year, same discussion. And I tell this student, hey, that MCAT, you gotta get that MCAT up. If you can do that MCAT, you're gonna be golden for medical schools. Get that MCAT in. Same conversation, okay? Year goes by, okay? This student is at coaching every single week. Every single week I see this student coaching. They're on track. Say, oh yeah, I'm doing well, doing these things. They got issues. Things are happening with their MCAT study. Send me an email. We hop on the phone, because I'll call my students if they want to email me. You got a real issue? Let's talk about it. If you're being proactive, let's talk about it. Hop on the phone. Hey, what's going on? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to do this. We'll troubleshoot, blah, blah. We've been troubleshooting her plan this whole year, getting it figured out, blah, blah, blah. So this student studies, okay, moving through the process, goes to take the MCAT, right? Is prepared, test score's going good, right? Score where they want to score, right? And then they get to test day, and they have a terrible test day. Terrible, terrible test day. They get their score back. It's not terrible, but it's 12, 13 points off where they were scoring. Okay? And this is why, like I said, I'll hop on the phone. You got to bring positive in me. So she didn't call me and say, what do I do? She sent me a text with like a 6-point plan of what she was going to do differently. And she's like, let's talk about it. I said, cool. Hop on the phone, and we locked in what things were going to be different the next time. Implemented that plan. Shook the test the next month. Not only was she scoring where she was scoring before, she had actually gone up 8 or 9 points. And so this student just finished her MCAT and scored 523. Now, 523 in itself is a great score. But what if I told you that this student was non-traditional? Hadn't taken class in a long, long time. Secondly, this student, disadvantaged background, minority student. Third thing, this student, severe learning disability. This student, fourth thing, severe psychological disability, anxiety, depression, right? On medication, singing therapy, all these things. All these obstacles, 523. And as we talked the whole process, when this student was starting to feel a little anxious, a little bit of that stress, right? That tension from the challenge, instead of shrinking, instead of running away, instead of feeling insurmountable and hopeless and negative, this student said, no, I'm going to be positive, right? I'm going to be positive. I'm going to do the things, right, that we say here. I'm going to say, listen, it's okay for me to struggle. It's okay for me to miss lots of questions. That's all growth. You know what? I'm struggling with my mental health. What should I do? Let's talk about it. Let's brainstorm. So we got her in CBT. We got her changing medications. We got her doing all this, right? Oh yeah, we got accommodations hooked up. We got the right accommodations, the second test. We got all these things in place. Okay, listen, this is how your studying should go. Boom, boom. All these things we lined up. Proficiency. And she executed and worked it, and now she got 523. And all of her worrying she used to push her to work harder, to troubleshoot, to recognize this is not insurmountable. It's not hopeless. I just got to find the right way around it. I got to learn how to do it. I got to become proficient. Let me go to coaching and hang out with people who are like me, who will be positive and talk me up. That's the difference, y'all. Functional and destructive stress. Literally, two students I had the same exact conversation with a year ago are now a year later in two entirely different circumstances. Because one said, no. Yes, it's stressful, but it's all right. It's functional. And the other student was shut down by their stress. You get to choose. And the student who had the functional stress is a student with anxiety, with depression, who didn't succumb to it, who got treatment, who's going to therapy more often, who's doing multimodality therapy, who said, I'm going to conquer this. It's not insurmountable. It's not hopeless. I can get it if I want it, and I'm going to get it. That's the difference, y'all. Do we recognize? Do we see? I'll end there. We're at hour and 15. Functional and destructive stress. Stress, it is part of life. But overwhelming stress is not. And what we have to do is take it from that overwhelming destructive stress to functional stress that moves us forward, that makes us better than we could even imagine for ourselves as being that great. And we do it by following the steps we just talked about today, guys. Yes. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please take a second, like this video. Take a second. Sohail just said, I need a clone. I want you guys to clone me. Take a second. Let people know. Share this right now on your social media, whatever. Let people know, dang, this video is, you got to get some of this. You need some of this right now. And share this and push this forward, right? Push positivity out to people. Put that around y'all. You know what I'm saying? And do the steps we talked about. Infuse some positivity. It's simple. The next day, infuse some positivity. Come back, comment on this video. Hit me up on social media. Let me know what you're doing to infuse some positivity. And let's get started, y'all. Let's get better. Right? I'm Dr. Pinesett. I'm the Study Doc. I'm at the Study Doc across social media. This is my YouTube channel. My podcast is the Study Doc Show. If you're a pre-med, I got the Dominate Pre-Med Show for you. Also, all the pre-med good stuff over there. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching the podcast, take a second, y'all, subscribe to the podcast. Give me a review. Let me know what you think of the podcast, that I'm out here putting meaningful work in for y'all. If you guys are glad that I'm back and we are together, let me know. Let people know that we're here, because every single week we're going to go hard. We're not doing we're not doing superficial, intimas. We must have in-depth conversations if we are going to change substantially. We must go to the root of the tutor, right? And lift it up and get there. Okay? I thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys. How do we always end every single session, no matter what? No excuses, just dominate, guys. No excuses, just dominate. If you're ready to be so dominant, it hurts. Get to my website, thestudydoc.com. Get into a course, a coaching program. I've actually changed it up now. All my courses come with coaching, okay? Because I want to be there for you guys. Please get to my website, get into a course, get better today, thestudydoc.com, thestudydoc.com. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys. Every single Tuesday will be live action here on my YouTube channel. So please join me. I'm at the Study Doc across social media. Come check me out, hang out, whatever. But the place I want you to be is on this YouTube channel, because we're going to be live. I like being live and interact with you guys. Crystal, what up? Right? So come out, hang out, and make sure you guys let people know that we're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Let people know we are here. Don't make me sweat for no reason. Don't make me hoarse for no reason. I'm going to rest my voice. I ain't getting no water going on. Yeah, buy Bitcoin. I'm not sure right now. I don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. So let me do right there, right? All right. So everybody, have a great, great day filled with positivity and productivity moving forward, and functional stress, y'all. Make the change. And they're going to be today. Start making that change today for a better life. And I'll put Pat's comment up here. I appreciate that, Pat. A few years ago, I found Dr. P, changed my whole perspective. Been a minute because I got med school. Yeah. Oh, because of me, right? Got that med school life, been busy. But I appreciate saying that, Pat. I just appreciate all you guys. And thank you guys. There's so many of you guys on here with me hung out to the end. Man, thank you guys. So it must have been an okay session today then. People hung out to the end. We're going to be doing this every single week, y'all. We're trying to make change. We're trying to empower students. It's time out for superficiality. It's time out for negativity. It's time out for posers. It's time out for trash. It's about realness. It's about moving people forward. It's about having a genuine care and compassion for your success. And that's what I got. I love my students. I love making people successful. Actually, let me rephrase that. I love showing you how to make yourself successful because you're in charge. All right? So everyone have a good night. No excuses. Just dominate, y'all. I'll see you guys next time.